Alrighty, so I don't really know if I'm confident enough to say that I know everything there is to know about Guild Wars. I kind of just want to go over sort of like the basics and everything like that you should maybe know when getting into the whole thing. So I'm looking at this from a guild leader sort of standpoint, because obviously I am the leader of my guild, so I kind of have at least a little bit more info on how to set the whole thing up at least. But as a regular player, I'm assuming once your guild leader sort of puts you into the rotation and assigns you to a base, your defending teams will sort of just act as like a defense for that base, and the enemy that you get paired up against is going to attack. When they attack that base that you're in, they'll go against your team. So you really don't have to worry about the defending side of it too much, other than just setting up your team. So if we go over to this girl right here, the girl that you normally go to, you used to have to go to her every time that the guild boss reset, but it's where the actual guild boss is. There's a new pair of icons. This is regular Guild Wars, and I think this is Guild Wars Elite. I don't necessarily think this Guild Wars Elite is open to everybody. I think this one is still considered to be like top 10, top 20 guilds or something. I'm not exactly sure how many people get into that one, but we're going over regular. So if I'm not mistaken, regular is all ungeared, which is really nice. You don't have to worry about setting up any sort of gear or anything like that. We're currently in the middle of a season. The first time that they did this is only week 2 of Guild Wars being available for more guilds. And last week when they did it, it was available to sign up on Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken. So basically all I had to do as a guild leader was go in, sign us up for it. I think you have to do this every week, because this week it was on Monday that they basically said that the sign up period was available. And I can kind of show you, like if I go to the tavern really quickly and I pull up my like knighthood thingy in the bottom right, you can see it says Knighthood Guild War. Down here at the bottom it says regular season competition battle has started, but if the sign up period is available as the guild leader, at least I don't know if the regular guild members can see this, but it'll tell you, hey, Guild Wars is active right now, or Guild Wars is available to be signed up for right now, so feel free to go and sign up your guild for it. So you just click go to Knighthood, you go over to them, and then it'll be like, hey, the season's not currently on right now, but you can sign up, so you just click sign up. Other than that, you just basically run back over here to the Knighthood girl, and then she will you can kind of use her as like a reference. Like you can click on the little question mark right here, and it kind of gives you the small rundown. It doesn't give you any specifics on like when the sign up period is or anything like that, but it does tell you, like, to sign up you have to have at least 20 members in your knighthood, which is pretty understandable. Like, I mean, it's supposed to be like a big group event. You don't really want to go into this if you only have like 5 people in your knighthood, I guess. But yeah, it goes by your combat class of the knighthood, and I guess how good your knighthood is. So if I go to the knighthood section, you can see that our guild is in the top 2%, which means that potentially we should be in the highest bracket, because if we go to the next page right here and we scroll down, tier selection is based on account combat class ratio, and we are in the top 2%. I assume that's how that works. I'm not completely sure on that, so if I'm wrong, feel free to call me out. If you know, feel free to correct anything I say, because it just feels like there's not a ton of info on this kind of stuff. So yeah, I would assume that we're in Challenger. A lot of the people that we were, or the guild that we got paired up against this week, which is Antique, they actually had a pretty strong amount of, people in their guild. Like, a lot of the teams and stuff that I went up against were actually, fairly like high CC, like good teams and stuff like that. Obviously, it's really not hard to just like get random people in your guild and just sign them up and everything like that. But in the sign up period, before you actually go live with it, I'm pretty sure you can set up who you want to be in what base. And I obviously can't show you that at the moment, but like you can see that we have all of our, like I have a couple of different people in each base. And in the sort of preparation period of it, I guess, like after you've signed up, you can sort of set up your defenses, which lets you and your guild mates and stuff like that set up which teams they want to defend with. And once they're registered, it's up to the guild leader to just assign them to different kinds of bases and stuff like that. So if you're a guild leader, you do have to go in. I tried to remind my guys as much as possible, like, hey, if you want to participate in Guild Wars this week, make sure that you know, set up your defending teams and stuff so I can put you into a base to defend. So that's kind of just what I did as a guild leader, just tried to remind them if they wanted to participate, feel free. If not, you know, not everybody in my guild is signed up for it or anything like that. And some of the guild members that I have, they don't even have a full set of 5 teams, which is completely fine. I'm definitely taking it a lot more casual. I'm assuming if you wanted to be, you know, like a top guild or something and get as many rewards as possible out of it, you probably want to have, you know, everybody sign up if possible, have everybody, you know, have good and like meta teams and stuff like that, which is another thing too. Apparently there are decent characters that are normally not very meta, but are very good for Guild Wars specifically, and I'm assuming it's because of the different kinds of base effects for each of these bases. So you can see like there are different sorts of like buffs that your characters get if they're fighting you and stuff like that in these different areas. So you want to sort of strategize around that if you can. I honestly haven't had too much of a problem with it so far, just using like regular PvP meta sort of teams, but I'm assuming if you really took it seriously, you could probably get very outplayed by some like off meta team that was really taking advantage of some of these effects and stuff like that. So it looks like we're actually in gold, so I wonder how that works, because yeah, so that would put us in top 31 to 40%, and I'm assuming that's because of our combat class for like the whole guild in general. I'm not exactly sure how that works. I wish it was just explained a little bit better, because I've read through this whole thing and it was still very like just like mind-boggling. Like it doesn't really go over too much of it in detail, in my opinion. So that is a little unfortunate. But yeah, once you sign up and you're good to go, after, you know, the next day and the season starts, it will pair you up with another guild, and then basically this is what our guild looks like at the moment. Like I think they've probably at least taken out one of our guys or two, because we have 2 out of 5 members, but I have 3 people assigned to this base, so I think one person has at least been taken out of that one. It looks like that one is fine at the moment. It really doesn't seem like the guild that we're going against has really tried to attack us too much. That one person has been taken out of this one already. This one is still fine, and then the one that I'm in is fine as well. So yeah, as far as the attacking goes, you hit enter battlefield, and you can see that like the guild that we're going against only has 2 bases left. But if I'm not mistaken, I think this, yeah, they have 5 members in all of their things. So you can kind of see, you can see the people in the guild's name, and you can see how many points I assume that it's worth if you take out that person. And then if you can take out the whole base, I think it's worth 600 points. But yeah, each of these people have 5 different teams that we're going to have to go through. I'm pretty sure I took out this guy's team right here, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so I went up against these people. You can see I used the Margaret team on this one, and then I ended up losing because your HP does carry over whenever you go to the next battle. So by the time I was on his 3rd team, I just couldn't hold out any longer, and he ended up beating that team. And basically what happens is, if I go back, you can kind of see my battle count is 0 out of 5. So you can basically go in and fight with 5 different teams, or until you beat the opponent. So I went in and I fought this guy, and I used one team all the way up to here, and then I switched to like a Purgatory Bond team, and I finished off the rest of these. No, I guess I lost on the last battle right here. Like I guess my characters had gotten exhausted to that point, and I just lost all my HP. So I got to the third team that I was using, and you do get rewards on at least using 3 different kinds of teams. So if you can hold out and you can actually beat all 5 teams with just one of your teams, you'll still be able to use 4 more battles, which means I'm pretty sure I went over to this one afterwards, and I was like, hey, I don't have a whole lot of units left because I've used, every time you use a team, it knocks out, like you can't use those characters anymore. So I ended up going over here, and I can't remember, it doesn't look like I fought this guy. I did fight this guy, so I put together just some sort of like little like off-meta teams revolving around Blue Merlin. So I used that to take out this team, and that counted as one of my battles. And then I went up against this guy as well with an assault mode team, and I ended up winning that one. But because I beat him as an entirety, like both of these guys only had one team available, that took up the rest of my battles. So I used 3 battles on the one guy with 5 teams registered, and then I ended up using 2 of my other battles to take out some of the smaller guys because I didn't have a whole lot of units left, and I didn't want to go up against somebody really big. But maybe that would be the better strat, to be honest. Try to weaken somebody else that has a lot of teams, so that way your guild mates can kind of swoop in and finish them off for the win. So yeah, you can see they only have 200 points, and we were only missing, I think it was 2 different people out of our bases. So I'm assuming that's why they have 200. And you know, they have quite a few bases that have perished at this point. It doesn't look like maybe they had anybody in that one, or that one, or that one. Or maybe just the fact that I didn't participate in those. I can't see them. I'm not too sure about that, honestly. But yeah, we did take out all 3 of these. And then we did take out one of these, and it looks like somebody was fighting this one. Cannot battle a knighthood member already in combat. So it looks like one of my guildmates was either trying to take this one down or is in the process of doing so. But I'm assuming because these bases are already destroyed, we maybe got the 600 points for those bases, either not having people in them or us clearing them out. So yeah, if we end up winning this, I think with us already having 2,800 points, I don't know exactly how it worked. We ended up getting all 10 of the diamonds last time. And that was basically just after us fighting the one guild. So I still don't exactly know how the point system works. Like, I'm assuming maybe if we take down the entire guild, it might give us more points. I don't know for sure, but I'll kind of have to keep an eye on it and see how many points we end up getting at the end of this season, which ends in 15 hours and 45 minutes. So like probably tomorrow, later tomorrow, I'll check on this, see how many points we ended up getting in total, and see how many, or seeing what the rewards that they end up giving us for this week or season. But yeah, that's basically the the overall concept, I guess. I know that there's still a lot of like small stuff that I really just don't know a whole lot about, but if I know anything, feel free to ask me questions in the comment, and I'll try to answer them to the best of my ability, because so far it hasn't been like super confusing. It's just been like, hey, you know, set up your bases, make sure that you have people in them, and then you get put up against another guild, and you basically just try to take their guild out as fast as possible, or maybe not even as fast as possible, but just over the course of the season, which is like the week or a couple of days, however long it spans. You just basically want to try to destroy all of their bases, so that way you end up with more points than them, so that way you win the battle. So I don't know, it's kind of a cool game mode so far. I have kind of enjoyed just messing around with it here and there. The fact that it's ungeared on the normal one is kind of nice, honestly. I don't have to worry too much about it. And I mean, as a day 1 player, I do have quite a few like level 90 like super awakened characters and stuff like that I can kind of just throw into my defense and hopefully hold my, you know, base and stuff with my guildmates and stuff. So it is kind of cool. I have been enjoying it. So that's pretty much it. I know this wasn't like a definitive guide or anything by any means. If you have any more knowledge on how it works, feel free to drop that down below, because I feel like I've looked it up, and there really just isn't a whole lot of like guides and stuff like that on Guild Wars. Like, really nobody's talking about how it works. There's just, you know, different kinds of gameplay from members of top guilds and stuff that actually got to participate in it while it was still in like the alpha, or if it was even considered a beta period at that point. So yeah, if you have any extra knowledge, feel free to drop that down below. But that's pretty much it from me. Thank you guys so much for watching. Feel free to subscribe for more content in the future, and I will see you guys in the next video.